to get everybody's blood boiling. I am skeptical about the global warming claims. You ready, Marshall?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I am skeptical about global warming claims. And I know that I'm not going to dissuade anyone from their opinions, but what I do want to do is put a little bit of a tinge of doubt in your mind, and I want you to question what you're told by the media and by our government. It's very disturbing to me that certain school districts have put policies in place that have banned any contrary opinions other than that global warming is real. The government has funded researchers almost to the point where it's a foregone conclusion that the research project will point to man-made global warming. And I'm like, time out, let's just think about this a little bit. And some of you may say, well, I mean, isn't this just a benign theory? Isn't it better to be on the safe side? I'd rather err on the side of global warming than err on the side of let's just keep spewing a whole bunch of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Because at least we can think and feel that the Earth is safer. And I had held that opinion for a long time. But when I thought about it, for example, as a result of environmental regulations, now 10% of the gasoline in our cars is methanol. It's a biofuel, it's part biofuel. What does that mean? It means that we are taking food from the plants and we are putting that in our gas tanks. As a result, the price of food has gone up. Now, everybody in this room here, we're all pretty affluent, and paying an extra couple pennies for a box of cereal or a gallon of milk may not be that big of a deal, but it is a big deal for some people who are in a very low income bracket. That extra money makes a lot of difference to them. I'm going to read to you a quote from a book called Climate Change: The Facts by Mark Stein, and the quote reads, "This warm embrace of feel-good, highly expensive, renewable wind energy has left most vulnerable citizens out in the cold. Literally, in Germany, charities report the power is cut off from more than 300,000 households each year because consumers can't afford to pay the high costs of renewable green electricity." That affects people's ability to have electricity and heat their home. And obviously, in the wintertime, that's going to be a big deal for some folks. Also, certain, for example, wind energy can actually be detrimental to the environment. Number one, wind energy is inefficient. Number two, it takes a lot of surface area to generate that wind power. For example, if Australia were to get 50% of their power from wind energy, they would have to clear a swath of land the size of Tasmania to put all those wind farms. That's a lot of trees being destroyed. In Greece, because of the high cost of environmentally clean energy during 2011 and 2012, that winter, vast areas were deforested because people, rather than expending electricity, burned wood. So a lot of trees disappeared. So that is also a negative impact on our environment. And so the question then becomes, can global warming be proved? I'd raise this question to our august group. Does anybody know what the optimal temperature of the Earth should be? I don't know. That's above my pay grade. I have no idea what the optimal temperature of the Earth should be, nor do I know how to measure it. How many thermometers does it take to measure the amount of temperature change in the Earth? And what is a significant temperature change? Take, for example, where I'm from, in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. There's a 50 or 60 degree temperature change. That's part of the normal climate. Yet, some scientists say 1/8 of a degree is significant. How is that significant? And how can they even measure the temperature of the Earth to that granularity? People point to the polar ice caps shrinking, but the fact is, the North Pole may be shrinking, but the ice in the South Pole is getting bigger. Maybe there's just a natural explanation for it. Trees breathe carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. So my question is, if we have more carbon dioxide, wouldn't that be better for the trees? And wouldn't that be maybe a natural way that the Earth has healed itself? The climate changed even without mankind. And so let's say this. If we had we knew there was going to be a catastrophic change in the climate, do we really think that we have the ability to fix that? I hope that I have given you some things to think about. These are some of my questions. The impact of environmental regulations can be devastating. And I'm not saying that we should totally abandon environmentalism and conservation, because those two things are very, very important, but I think putting our effort into the cause of global warming is taking up too much of our energy for something that we can't prove, and we have a better opportunity to do more good for the environment if we focus elsewhere. Toastmaster.